They talk about peace and launch hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles at peaceful Ukrainian cities every day. They pretend to be ready for negotiations and at the same time draw maps on which Ukraine is turning into a buffer zone. How does the world react to Russia's terror? How has Trump's rhetoric changed? And what response, besides economic sanctions, is Europe preparing? Let's figure it out. 69 missiles of different types and almost 300 drones. The air attack on the night of May 25th was one of the most massive since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Putin's army struck 13 regions. 12 people were killed, more than 60 were injured. Both before and after this, the Kremlin used combined attacks against civilians. There is no military sense in them. The aggressor simply needs more destroyed houses, more blood, more grief.
These attacks on Kiev are totally appalling. It is clear that Russia has increased its pressure on Ukraine. It is really bombing Ukraine, and we have seen the deadliest attacks. So it is up to us to put the pressure on Russia so that it would also want peace. We are ready to do it on the European side, and we are hoping that other international partners will follow suit.
U.S. President Donald Trump, who last week claimed that he would not impose any restrictions on the Kremlin because he was counting on progress in the negotiations, now says outright that Putin has gone completely crazy, and the United States does not intend to postpone the issue of sanctions any longer.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
In addition, the Kremlin has again started talking about creating a so-called buffer zone. The Kremlin dictator announced this at a conference call, hinting at the Chernihiv, Sumy, and Kharkov regions of Ukraine. And Deputy Chairman of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, even posted a picture on his social media page in which almost the entire territory of Ukraine is one continuous buffer zone.
Putin and his entourage do not plan to end the war. There is currently no indication that they are seriously considering peace or diplomacy. On the contrary, there is ample evidence that they are preparing new offensive operations. Russia is counting on a prolonged war, and on their part this is a blatant disregard for all those around in the world who seek peace and are trying to make diplomacy work.
Moscow also said that it does not consider the Vatican a suitable platform for peace talks. According to the Kremlin, it is not neutral enough. The Russian authorities are dissatisfied with the composition of the Ukrainian delegation and cannot decide when they will be ready for the second round of meetings. The European Union understands perfectly well that all this is just another attempt to prolong Russia's war against Ukraine. That is why German Chancellor Friedrich Merz decided to remind once again that there is a decision by the United States, Germany, Great Britain, and France to lift restrictions on long-range weapons for Kiev.
There are no longer any restrictions on the range of weapons that will be supplied to Ukraine, neither by Great Britain, nor by France, nor by us, nor by the Americans. This means that Ukraine can defend itself by attacking military targets in Russia. Russia is completely reckless in attacking civilian targets, bombing cities, kindergartens, hospitals, shelters for the elderly. Ukraine is not. For Germany, it is important that Ukraine only strikes military targets in the Russian Federation. Friedrich Merz, Chancellor of Germany.
German media write that Ukraine is highly likely to receive long-range Taurus missiles. They even cite a figure of 100 or 150 units. In any case, Friedrich Merz made such a promise several times during the election campaign. In addition, the Netherlands announced that by the end of this week, they will deliver the last batch of promised F-16s to Kiev. Sweden is also allocating another package of military aid for $500 million. Putin is not going to cease fire, and you can't stop him by persuasion, and he can only be forced into peace negotiations. That is why pressure on Russia from both Europe and the United States is so important.